Yes, good morning, students, and welcome to the class of SAP. Good morning, Nagraj sir, and a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so very much, madam. Very good morning.
So you can please start the session, sir.
Sure. Yeah. So a very good morning and a very warm welcome to all the participants. So I hope probably you would have started spending time on the material which has been probably shared with you, the enable platform, what I'm talking about. Yeah. So by now you should be comfortable in at least opening up the material and start reading them. See, as I said, in the enable or in the course content, what has been given to you, it is not necessarily it is not necessary that you understand each and every letter, each and every word in the content. As of now, or as far as the current scenario is concerned, you may not be able to relate to so many terms. And as I said, please give yourself some time to allow the system to understand SAP. Allow yourself some time to understand SAP. It may sound a little, what should I say? A little complex, a little boring, right? But all the grind, what you are undergoing is really worth it. Because tomorrow we will look at a place where you are supposed to work on SAP, right? So basically the idea, as I said on the other day, the intent of this course is to make you feel comfortable when you land up in an SAP environment. You should be in a position to understand the conversation and you should be able to effectively communicate in the same language. And for this, what did I say? It is very, very important and very simple that you always convert the understanding, or how you need to understand SAP is whatever is coming up, you relate it, whatever topic is coming up, you relate it to the normal business. I will try my very level best to give you everyday examples so that you will be in a much better position to understand what SAP does. But as far as SAP is concerned, a wonderful, wonderful product, and you will be in a position to appreciate this product once you are in a position to understand the powers of the system, what SAP is all about, what SAP can do to any kind of a business, and how you are going to see SAP, how you are going to use SAP, right? Now, so on the first day, I don't know how many of you would be present or absent, whatever. I see 175 attendees, probably a little more attendance. Not a problem. So every session, what we'll do is we will have a recap, maybe for depending on the questions, what I get from you people. We will have just a revision kind of a session. That is whatever we have covered in the previous session. I will just recap everything, maybe say for 15-20 minutes. And if you still have questions, most welcome to ask me. So we'll try to sort it out. All right. So even before we spoke anything about SAP, we used the term SAP. We understood what ERP was, what the earlier products of ERP were, and are they being used even today? Yes, Some parts of the US, they are still using JD Edwards, but maybe to a very, 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 very small extent, negligible extent. And you also have businesses using BAN, but this may be restricted to some parts of the Europe. All right. So even before we start about SAP, or we start looking at SAP in a little deeper way, so we understood what was the aim or what was the purpose of any business using any ERP product. And now, by now, we should be clear that SAP also falls under the ERP umbrella, right? SAP is also one of the ERP products. Okay, so we also said that it was founded by 4 engineers, and to be very, very precise, 4 engineers from IBM. Okay, so this happened in the early 1970s, 1972, in a small place called Waldorf in Germany. So this I am giving you a brief introduction of the SAP company itself. Even today, it is headquartered in the same place. All right. Now, why SAP is having a larger market share while compared to the other ERP products? So we spoke about a very, very strong and a very, very powerful concept called as your integration. Where is that integration? Integration. Now, what is this integration? Now, whenever you're talking about a business, whenever you're talking about any organization, it is comprising of so many departments. Correct? You agree with me? Now, how does one department communicate with the other department? Right? So now we took the examples of the purchase and the sales functionalities of a business. Now, ultimately, where does the action start? The action starts by the purchase department purchasing the required raw materials. Okay. Now, what happens? These raw materials get into the production department and they get converted into the finished product. Now, just to give you more clarity on integration, students, this may be a repetition, but this is the heart of SAP. If you understand this concept of integration, okay, because we are going to look at the finance module, which is the heart of SAP, which is the soul of SAP, just because if we come down to the accounting description or accounting way of how you explain business, it is nothing but your inflow and outflow of money. So who controls this inflow and outflow of money? It is a finance professional. There has to be a finance person. And whether you are using SAP or you do not use SAP, the managing of the funds, the managing of the finances is very, very essential for any kind of a business. How does this happen? So everywhere, every activity of the business involves money, involves finance. Starting from a petty purchase to the purchase of high valued raw materials for your production activities. So everything involves money. You need to pay to your employees. You need to pay to your vendors. Correct? So all these, they involve money. So now when you talk about the integration, what is this integration? Now we just spoke about a small example of the purchase department procuring the raw materials. Now, how does the information flow? So even before the purchase department starts procuring the items, the production department must inform the purchase department saying that it is requiring these many quantity of this particular material. So the production department should intimate the purchasing department saying that I require 100 kgs of this particular raw material. Only then the purchase department will know. So this again is a interaction between the production department and the purchase department. Now the purchase department, based on the request from the production department, it procures the material, it purchases the material from an external vendor. Okay, and supplies this to the required department, required production department. That is from where the demand has come up. Now, when does this process end? The process will end, the process begins once the vendor starts supplying the required items. The external vendor sends the raw materials to your company, to your security guard. Okay, he receives the items or to the security gate. So from then, the action starts. The quantity is made note of. I have got 100 kgs of this particular raw material and I am sending it to the stores. All these things have to happen. Now from the stores, it gets issued to the materials gets issued to the production department. And when does the cycle end? The cycle ends when the purchase department intimates the finance department that this particular vendor from whom we have purchased the items need to be paid this amount. So now do you see the production department talks to the purchase department, the purchase department is talking to the finance department. So this is the cycle which starts and ends the particular process. So this we call it as the business process in SAP. Just hold on. This also is called as the business process or the business processes. There is a separate topic on this, which we will touch upon a little later, or when the appropriate time comes up. Maybe this may take time till the next week. Okay, because till then we will spend time on our module, which is the finance module, right? So this is the bonding between the different departments, and this concept is the heart of the whole SAP product. This is what is making SAP tick. It is so very robust. The processes are very well taken care of. The integration process. Clear? Now, what is SAP? Systems, applications, products, or procedures in data processing. Now, we came across a new term called as modules. And even before we get into the modules, we saw the architecture of SAP. We spoke about the R3 architecture. R stands for your real-time processing of the data. Now, what is real-time processing of the data? the data once saved, once input into the SAP system and saved, the output is immediately processed. Yeah, the results are immediately reflected in my financial position. All right. So the timeliness of the information. So we discussed some time ago, maybe on Friday, we discussed what is the role of an ERP product, the timeliness and the accuracy of the reporting of the information. This is very, very essential for the top level management for decision making. So that is why you should be the product or whatever product you may be using need not necessarily be SAP. Whatever ERP product you are using must satisfy this requirement. Timeliness of the information and the accuracy of the information. So this is achieved by SAP through the real-time processing of the data. All right. Now, when SAP was introduced or SAP took birth, did it evolve as an R3 architecture? Not at all. It graduated itself from the R1 system to the R2 systems, from the R2 systems to the R3 system. Now, when you're talking about the R1, R2 and R3 systems, what is that I'm talking about? So we said the R3, essentially the R3 architecture necessarily consists of these three layers: the presentation layer, the application layer, and the database layer. So what is the role of each and every layer? The presentation layer. What is the presentation layer? Now, whenever you are using a product, you're going to input the data. Suppose you are using SAP in your organization, and I work in the accounts payable department. There is an invoice from the vendor I receive. I need to necessarily enter this invoice in the SAP system. So where do I do this? I do it on my laptop or on my desktop. Correct? Now, the laptop or the desktop screen is called as a presentation layer. The place where I enter the data. Okay. Now the application layer, what does it do? It processes the data. In the sense, I'm entering a vendor invoice. Okay, the invoice is for 100 kgs of material of a raw material at 110 rupees per kg. So this mathematics, this arithmetic is being done in the system. Where is it being calculated? It is being achieved in the application layer. The data gets processed. And once when you enter the information, today or tomorrow or the next week or the next month or at the end of the year, to close your financial activities, you need to retrieve the data for that complete 1 year. So you know the Indian businesses start their first day on April 1st and close the books of accounts on the 31st of March the next year, the fiscal year, the financial year, by whatever name you want to call it. So whatever invoice has been entered in the month of April, May, June, July, August, probably you may want to retrieve it in the month of December or even say January next year. So this data necessarily needs to be stored somewhere. The data is getting stored in the database layer. And now we are talking about the current scenario in the sense this is the latest architectural design of SAP. Before this, what was it? It was the R2 architecture. R2 architecture was necessarily there was no distinction between the presentation layer was one and the application and the database layer were combined to form one layer. So you had only two layers. One is the presentation layer and the other space was for the processing as well as storing the data. But even before this, when did this system come up? It came up in the late 1980s, maybe say 1988 or 89. Okay, so earlier, so SAP took birth in 1972. Now, how was SAP born? It was following or it was having the R1 architecture, meaning there was necessarily no distinction between the presentation, the application, and the database layers. Everything was happening in one place. Now, why was this change in the why was this upgradation? Why did SAP try to evolve from R1 to R2, from R2 to R3? As and when the business complexities grew, meaning I had to retrieve the data much faster. I had to save the space. So all these factors, the business, whenever it started demanding, SAP had to constantly improvise itself to meet up the market dynamics. It could have been in the form of a report. It could have been in the form of the processing time. It could be in the form of a retrieval time. All right. So all these factors, it kept SAP ticking. So if at all SAP wanted to survive in the market, it had to meet up with the business requirements. So that is why this progression R1 to R1 to R2, R2 to R3. But today you are talking about a totally different system called as SAP HANA. HANA stands for your high performance analytic appliance. Okay. Now, then if you are talking about SAP HANA now, what was the earlier SAP system called? It was called as a ECC system. What does ECC stand for? Enterprise Central Component. So earlier, all SAP installations were on the ECC platform only. Now, SAP is making it mandatory that all the ECC implementations must move from the ECC platform to the HANA platform. Clear? There are so many complexities involved there. Okay. Now, we spoke about the HANA system. So if somebody asks you tomorrow after this course gets over, if somebody comes and asks you, can you please tell me what is SAP HANA? What would you answer? Now, SAP HANA is a current transformation. What are the basic changes? Technical changes are far too many I'm not going to touch upon the technical aspects of SAP HANA. The first and the foremost and the very basic change is the change in the ECC database, what SAP was having, and the HANA database, what it is following now. In the ECC SAP systems, you had Oracle as the database. So obviously, the revenues were shared with Oracle, whatever could be the ratio, whatever could be the percentage. But some revenues had to be shared for the database sharing. Just because SAP is using Oracle as a database, it had to pay Oracle. So again, SAP there thought of saving that revenue also. So that is why it developed an indigenous database called as HANA. So HANA is necessarily the own database of SAP. That means SAP has developed this HANA and using it as a database. Now, what was the other interesting changeover from the ECC to HANA? Another interesting change was basically the ECC SAP, the architecture was done basically to support your laptops, your desktops. Clear? So whenever you had to work on an SAP platform, you had to either carry a laptop or come to the office and work on the desktop. Two possibilities. Now, over the change, when SAP moved from Oracle to the HANA database, it also thought of how simplified and how effectively one can use the SAP system. So that is why it introduced an app. It introduced a concept called as Fiori. Nothing but an app. Now, how did this help? Now, when you're working on the ECC platform, suppose I'm working on the AP side or on the AR side. Of course, you had the things to modify or customize your workspace. Now HANA went a step ahead. Now even in the sales side of SAP, if I'm a salesman, all right, what was my job? I had to go to the customer's place and record the information. In the sense, I used to go to a potential customer's place and pick up the order. And at the end of the day, what would I do? I used to come back to the office and enter all this potential sales into my SAP system. So do you think it is suggestible? Now what HANA did was it introduced a concept called as user-based. User-based in the sense, whatever I want, only I can download it on my mobile or on my tab. So it made SAP work on your mobiles and on your tabs. Just did you make note of the progress what SAP made from your laptop or on your desktop to a mobile screen? So you could have SAP on your mobile, and I, as a salesman, I could have only the sale order portion of SAP as an application and use only that because I won't require anything else. Do I require anything else? Because I'm just a salesman. So like this, SAP, and it also beautified the screen. So you may not be in a position to appreciate it now. So it also added the appearance and the what should I say? The beauty of the screen. Okay. So this is about your Fury. And now on the ECC side, when we started SAP, or rather when I started SAP, I started working on the 4.6B version of SAP. Then later, slowly, I moved into the 4.6C version, 5.0, the new general ledger concept, then 6.0. Now I'm talking about HANA. Clear? You're in a position to, for people who were absent on Friday, this is a repetition. And for people who had attended on Friday also, probably this could be a refreshing kind of a revision, right? I hope it was helpful. Now, moving ahead, we also discussed what are the kinds of people, who are the people who use the SAP system. One block of people, they necessarily are into the designing of the SAP product. So I compared SAP on the last session. I compared SAP to a cloth, to a piece of cloth. So what can I exactly do with that piece of cloth? I can stitch a shirt. I can have a trouser stitched. I can have a kurta. I can have whatever I want. But the basic product is the same. It is the same cloth. So here the cloth is SAP, and however suitable I can make the cloth suit to my business. If I'm into a manufacturing business, if I'm into a service business, if I'm into some other kind of a business, so I can accordingly make SAP work to my requirements, work to my needs and demands. Now, we also spoke about when we were talking about the how SAP has spread across so many industries. Now you see SAP can be used by any business. It can be used by the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry, the public sectors, the automotive industry. You name the business, SAP can fit into that. So now, who designs the SAP product suitable to that business? There are people called as consultants who are the SAP experts who take up the requirement of the concerned business. So if I'm implementing or if I'm bringing in SAP for a food industry, or maybe say for a real estate. Yes, you heard it right. Real estate also uses SAP. It was a big thing happening in maybe say in 2014. I was also a part of the real estate project. Okay, so now you can see you can also apply it to your food industry. You can also apply it to your pharma industry, chemical industry, your automotive industry. And yes, we also did it for one airlines. I think if I'm not wrong, Etihad uses SAP. Etihad Airlines uses SAP, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so like this, why I'm giving you this example is how SAP is being used across the various businesses. All right. So this is how SAP has spread itself. Why is it spreading itself? Because of the constant research and development happening in SAP to meet up with the market standards, to meet up with the market demands. And is SAP used only in India? Absolutely no. SAP is used worldwide. So you can imagine how much SAP has to work, because there are food industries in India, there are food industries in Europe, there are food industries in the US. Everybody is operating. Okay, they're having the same business, but how SAP is made suitable to that particular location, to that particular requirement. The food industry in India may have a different legal impact. In the US, it may have some different demands. In the Europe, it may have some different demands. So, but the product is the same. All the food industries are using SAP in India, US, and as well as in the EU. Clear? Did you understand? So the people who design the SAP product to meet the requirements of a specific business, they are referred to as the consultants. Now Reliance is using SAP, and Reliance, you know, it is not into one business. It is into a number of businesses, starting from insurance to the consumer business to the textiles, whatever. So, and they are using SAP. So Reliance, who's actually using SAP in Reliance? It is the Reliance employees. They are simply using the SAP system for their day-to-day activities. Suppose there is an employee in Reliance who's in the accounts receivable department, who's responsible for entering the sales invoices. His responsibility is only to enter the sales invoices. So what is that person referred to as? So these kind of people who are the employees of a particular organization and who use SAP for their day-to-day transactions, they are referred to as end users. They are referred to as end users. Now, what is the next thing? Super or the power user, what I have written here. Now, suppose I'm working in Reliance in the ER department. Let us assume, okay, I will be reporting to my manager. So normally, my manager will have a larger access to the SAP system because he's controlling so many people under him, just like me. I am a clerk, so he may be having 10 clerks under him. Yeah, so he'll be having a larger access to the SAP system. So I may not be having access to the accounts receivables reports, but as my manager, the manager will be having a greater access to the SAP system. So this is probably based on the roles of an individual. They are referred to as the super or the power users who have more access to the SAP system. So I'll be getting into a greater depth when we actually get into the SAP systems. So I hope you have understood the difference between the the consultants and the end users. Okay. Now, when we are talking about SAP, we spoke about integration, basically communication between the two departments in any organization, two or more departments. The human resources talking to the finance, the sales talking to the finance, the purchase talking to the finance, could be anything. Now, the individual departments in an organization is referred to as modules in SAP. Is there something about here? Modules. See, individual departments in an organization. You have the finance department, you have the management accounting department or the consolidation department, you have the purchase department, material management, sales department, sales and distribution, production department, production and planning, your project systems, your human resources. Clear? They are referred to as the functional modules. Functional, I think it is self-explanatory. The departments who are in the action mode. Okay. There is also the technical side of SAP. Who are the people associated with the technical side of SAP? They are referred to as your ABAP consultants, basis consultants. So consultant is an expert in the SAP system. Let me just. He is an expert in the SAP system. Okay. And we also discussed the responsibility of a consultant. Of course, the aim of this course is not for you to become consultants, but you should be feeling comfortable by the end of this course. You should be feeling comfortable with a few concepts in SAP and also the usage of the product. Yeah. And for people who have attended the session for the first time, at the end of the course, you will also be having assessments. Typically based on the MCQ, it will be in the MCQ format, multiple choice. Okay. Not to worry, it will be simple. Nothing you need to do on the system. You will have to do nothing on the SAP system. Let me repeat. Okay. And nothing, absolutely nothing to be worried about the SAP system. You are not going to deliver any solution through the SAP system. It is only going to be theoretical. Your assessment is going to be theoretical. Clear? Now, this ABAP and your basis. Of course, there are many more technical modules. I've just restricted to the most commonest of all the functional and the technical modules. Yeah. Now, what is ABAP? If you're interested to, ABAP. Okay. Now, what is this? This is the language in which SAP is coded. So you would have heard about the coding languages. So ABAP is one of the languages in which SAP is coded. And just to add one more interesting point, since SAP took birth in Germany, the standard language, the coding language is German. Okay, but SAP has beautifully designed a product that you can code in any of the, you can use the SAP product in any of the international languages. You may not be able to appreciate the statement as of now, but when I show you the SAP system, I will definitely tell you more and more about it. Okay. Now, so as of now, it is just enough for you to know that ABAP is the language in which SAP is coded. Point number one. Point number two. Any screen you open in SAP, it could be for your vendor invoice, it could be for your vendor payment, it could be the credit memo, it could be your asset capitalization, it could be your asset depreciation, it could be a simple journal voucher entry. Whatever screen the end user is opening to enter the transaction, each and every screen is governed by a relevant program. Yes, you heard it right. Each and every report, each and every screen you open is governed by a specific program in SAP. I will not tell you more on this. Just hold on with this information. We will talk about it at the appropriate moment. Now, when you're talking about any data, don't you think the security of the data is also very important? Obviously, right? Now we are talking about the security of data is becoming so very important. Now, who actually is responsible for managing the security of the data? It is the basis consultants who will be associated in every project in SAP. Okay, this ABAP and the basis, these two people, okay, these two specialists will definitely be available in every project. In every SAP project, these two experts will definitely be available. So what I necessarily mean to say is your SAP project is a combination of your functional and your technical modules. It is not complete only with the functional modules. It is not complete only with the technical modules. Clear? It is a combination of these two people. Both the functional specialists and as well as the technical specialists. So the basis people, they are responsible for the data security. They have more functions, but let me not give you more information as of now. Okay. Now, just to, I don't know if you will be in a position to appreciate this point, but let me put it in. This basis people, as I said, I just gave you an example. The end users and the super or the power users, correct? So what did I say? The clerk will have a minimum access to the SAP system whereas the managers, the supervisors, the head of the departments, they will be having more authorizations, more reach to the SAP system than a clerk. How is this being controlled? This authorizations to access the SAP system is given by the basis people. They are responsible not only for the data security, but also for providing the necessary authorizations and the required permissions to use the SAP system. I hope I was clear. So this is what we discussed on Friday. And the recap will not be this exhaustive since today is just the second day and we had a lot of absentees probably on Friday. So that is why I took a longer time for me to recap. Right? But going further, maybe say, maybe not even tomorrow or from the day after tomorrow or something, the recap session will be very, very brief. It may not go beyond 15 to 20 minutes. It is just going to be a recap, and depending on the questions what you people ask me, the duration of the recap will depend. Clear? So this is where we ended Friday's session. Yeah. Okay, we just had a concept of the master data and the transactional data, the different kinds of data which you come across in SAP. For example, so there are necessarily or basically two kinds of two kinds of data. One is a master data, the other one is a transactional data. Now, what could be the example of a master data? Now, you join a company, you get an offer letter, you join a company. So what necessarily needs to be done? All your personal data is needed by the company. Your name, your address, your Aadhaar number, your PAN number, and various other details, your mobile number, your alternate contact, whatever. And you'll also be given an employee ID. So what does this constitute? This constitutes your personal information, right? And this is called as the master data. Now, what is the example of a transactional data? Now, today you may join as a junior consultant. You get promoted the next year, you become a senior consultant. 2 years down the line, you become a team lead. So all these, whatever the salaries, whatever you're drawing, every month there is salary being given to you. So where is this getting recorded? What is the kind of information that it is? It is a transactional data. So the salaries, your promotional details, your today you may be a bachelor, tomorrow you may be married, you may get married. So the other data also comes into picture. So all this information, they are a part of your transactional information. For example, your customer, your vendor information. Suppose you have customers and vendors with whom your business interacts very frequently, almost on every month. You're generating a lot of business with the vendor and with the customer. Okay. So you need to store that information. Measures XYZ Limited or Measures ABC Limited is my customer. He is located, his address, business address is this. His business telephone number is this. His contact person is this. His fax number is this. His email ID is this. His bank details is this. All this information is the master data. Now, whenever I am selling a product, I may be selling a product every day. I may be selling a product to Measures ABC Limited 10 days once. So even if I assume that I am generating 4 invoices in a month, 4 sales transactions in a month, this becomes the transactional information. So this is necessarily your understanding of your master data and your transactional data. So I think we stopped at this topic on Friday. Janvi madam, do I see any questions?
No, sir. No questions relating to the topic as such. I
Okay.
see.
Okay. So here I will take a pause for 2 minutes and probably give them time to ask me questions.
Yes.
Students, please feel free to put up any of your queries in the Q&A section. All right. So we will take it up maybe once in 1 hour or something like that. All right. So
Students,
just take
please
it.
put in. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah. Students, please take time and post in your queries relating to the topic in the Q&A section. So there is one question.
Yes, madam.
Can ECC system work on SAP HANA database?
Can see here. Most of the functionalities will not work. This answer may not be understood by you on at this current moment, but whatever operations you were conducting on the ECC platform may, or rather would have undergone a change to the advanced version, to the HANA version. So it says this is obsolete. This operation is obsolete in the HANA system. Some of them may work, some of them may not. All right. Some operations, what you were peacefully doing on the ECC system may or may not work on the HANA system because it would have advanced. The same operation would have undergone a change suitable to the HANA platform requirement, and hence it may necessarily not work on the HANA platform. I hope I was clear. I will exemplify this at the appropriate moment. Just hold on. But this is the answer to your question as of the present moment. Good question. Very good question. Yes.
So
Yes, madam. Go ahead.
next question is please explain basis.
Please explain basis. Okay, madam. That we'll take it up once we come back from a brief break. Maybe 12 noon we'll take a break, madam. Is it okay?
Okay. Yes, sir. Sure, sure.
So we will take up this question as soon as we come back from the break. Any other questions, madam, so that
Yes, sir. One question is it necessary for companies using normal to be converted into SAP HANA?
yes. Now what happens now? It is the same case with that of your phones. So iPhone is constantly it's getting upgraded, right? So when you use the older versions, Apple may stop. Especially this happened with my iPad. So I went into an iPlanet. They said it's an older version and things may not work as that of the newer iPad. Okay, so some of the features may not be supported by the organization. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir.
So the same thing happens with SAP also. So from movement from the ECC SAP to HANA SAP, SAP has given some time for the transition. All right. So the time has already started. But the thing is, SAP will totally stop supporting ECC at a particular time. Maybe I'm not very sure if it is 2027. Earlier it was 2030, but I'm not very sure about the date. It must be 2027 now. Okay. So before that, all the ECC SAP has to move to HANA. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. So we can take a break now.
Sure, madam. We can take it.
10 minutes break, 10 minutes break, na, sir?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 12 now. We'll take a short break and we'll be back by 12:10. So just be online. We are here for a short break.
Sure, madam. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In the meantime, students, you can post your queries relating to the topic. We'll take it up after the break. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, sir. So I'll repeat the question, sir, then.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. One is I have to
Okay.
take up what is basis. Okay.
So you'll start with that then. Then I'll take
Sure,
up the
ma'am.
next
Sure,
question.
sure. Okay.
Okay.
So basis, as I said, uh, it falls onto the technical side of SAP. So what is the major responsibility? The major responsibility is to provide data security, SAP data security. Now I think we are talking about big data, okay. So the data has to be protected at all costs, which is very, very confidential. Okay, that is one. The second thing is probably it may be a little, I wouldn't say that you will not be in a position to understand, but you may have to, uh, it may not be as clear as maybe say when you progress your career in SAP, you will try to understand, or maybe when the course slowly proceeds, you will be in a much better position to understand how much of SAP can a person use. I'm just giving you a small example. I'm a clerk in the specific department, say in an accounts receivable department. My job is to enter the sales invoices, which I'm generating whenever I sell a product to the customer. So my job is only that. So when you're talking about a huge concern like your Tata or maybe say your Reliance, so this itself is a job. So I may be having only that job. So now if I want to see the data of the customer outstanding, I'm in the accounts receivables, no doubt. Do I really have to have the access to see the customers outstanding? Why should I even worry about the customers outstandings? I'm just a clerk. Yes, probably my head of the department, or maybe say my senior manager accounts receivable, maybe having this authorization. So how much of the access I get to the SAP system is also decided, or rather is also set by the basis people. I hope this point I have tried my best to keep it as simple and as understandable as possible. But as I said, it may still be a little unclear. Don't worry about it. And this, whenever you go through even your study content, once again, I repeat, do not try to understand the single letter of the course content. Some things may be understandable, some things may not be understandable. And as I said, please be patient enough to get your system used to the SAP environment. Lot of new terminologies, lot of concepts have to be taken in, lot of concepts have to be absorbed. Do not worry, even if you do not understand something, it is perfectly okay. No need to get unduly worried or tensed at this moment. Just give yourself some time to understand what is happening in the course, and then let us see how we can take it forward. Yes, madam, I think I was clear in telling them what basis was all about.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
madam, I'm ready. Yes,
yeah.
madam, go ahead.
Next question is, can we say that master data is something that is not changed very frequently?
Absolutely. Perfect. Yes. Perfect. It doesn't undergo a change frequently. Perfectly understood. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Next question is, if a company uses some other ERP system and now converted into SAP, so does it hamper the data?
That is exactly why you have consultants coming into picture. This phase or the non-SAP system, all right, we traditionally call it as a legacy systems. So even before an organization has moved to the SAP system, the earlier system, they are referred to as the legacy system. There is a particular phase in the project implementation, which I'm going to let you know. There is a particular phase in the project where we consultants are responsible for comparing the non-SAP data with the SAP data simultaneously. So even before we hand over the system to the implementing partner, to the company for which we are introducing SAP, it also had earlier data. So all the data must be consistently moved to the SAP system, and there should be 100% consistency. There is no chance for a slippage at all because your financials won't match. So even before we hand over the SAP system, what we finance people do is on a specific date, that is tomorrow, I'm handing over the SAP system to my implementing partner. So what I do today is I take up the trial balance as of yesterday and I compare it with yesterday's data of SAP or today's data of SAP because tomorrow I'm handing over the systems. So both as of today, suppose say I set 5 o'clock as the 5 p.m. as the last time or the final thing for the transaction. So by 5 o'clock, all the users must have entered the data and I will compare the non-SAP data with the SAP data and see to it that it is matching. We normally, the finance people, we match the trial balance taken on the particular date. If I take the trial balance at 5 p.m. today, the non-SAP and the SAP trial balance, both of them should match along with the balances for each and every account. Only then we will ensure that we hand over the correct SAP system to our implementing partner. I hope, and there has to be no inconsistencies at all as far as the data transfer is concerned. This in the SAP terminology, it is called as the cut over activities. This is called as this movement of the data from the non-SAP system to the SAP system is called as the cutover activity phase in the project implementation. I hope I have explained this clearly, madam. But of course, we'll get into the project details also. Don't worry about it. I hope I have answered this question.
Yes, sir. So next question is, please
Yes,
explain difference between basis and ABAP.
See, basis is a coding language. Basis is a language in which SAP is coded. All right. The basis module is not a language. It is an activity. The basis people, they do a specific activity, and basis is related to data security. It is not related to coding at all. ABAP is related to your coding of the SAP product itself. Basis is related to the data security in SAP. Let me just. I hope this two lines, they have added some clarity to your thought process. ABAP is simply a coding language. Okay, and basis is an activity related, concerning with the data security, data authorizations, and many things more. And their activity, I'm talking about the basis, their activity is even more when we are talking about HANA. All right, so let's not get into it. I hope I have clarified things in the most simplest of the ways, right? Yes, madam. I hope I was clear.
Yes, sir. The next question is, Kirana shop vendors, general market vegetable sellers are also put their, if they also put their data in SAP, what's the advantage for their prospective view?
See, it depends on, see, SAP cannot be used only for the billing. So billing, there could be so many softwares available. So what is the Kirana shop? What is it trying to achieve by having or by not having SAP? How effectively the Kirana shop or a big business is using SAP? That is a deciding factor. So how am I currently doing? Let me bring in another project terminology, as is. How is my business doing now? How do I expect my business to look like after I introduce SAP into my organization? So when I invest some money into a costly product like that of SAP, what is it that I get? Is it going to transform my business into more profits? Or what part of SAP am I looking at? See, the Kirana shop, see, as I said, if I'm talking about a manufacturing industry, is it the same weighing scale, a manufacturing industry and a Kirana shop? So the manufacturing industry's usage and the complexity of the business is much more than that of a simple Kirana shop. Do you agree with me? So it all depends on how the business owner, how and why is it looking at SAP. If my investment is more than my returns, obviously I will not invest. Why should I invest on a product like SAP? Only for billing, only for a particular activity. How is it going to improvise my functions in my organization? Can I increase my productivity? Can I cut down on the wastage of my resources? Can I sell my products better? Can I manage my business more professionally, more productively, more effectively, more profitably? These are the angles in which the business houses they look at even before they invest on SAP. Yeah, I hope I have answered your point.
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. While conversion from ERP ECC to S4 HANA, does it reduce the
I didn't get the next second part of the question, madam. Does it reduce the?
size of the data?
If you want me to explain this, probably I need to talk about how the database itself is designed. So this is not the right moment for us to talk about this, but yes, it definitely reduces the waiting time and the storage. The storage space is also effectively used. The data retrieval time is reduced to a large extent because of the way the data is stored in SAP ECC and SAP HANA. All right, and also the storage space is reduced to a great extent when we are talking about HANA. I hope I have answered that question because I don't want to get into the how the data is getting stored, how the tables are arranged, how the fields are arranged. I don't want to get into all those technicalities. OK, so as of now, let's keep the discussion on a very superficial level. I hope I've answered this point. Yes, your answer is right. Yes, it does save both your time and your storage space, data retrieval time and your data storage space. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Next question is there any audit trail feature in SAP?
Definitely it is there. Definitely it is there. And as and when we get into the finance side of SAP, I will highlight this particular aspect. There is an audit trail. Yes, there is. At the transaction level itself, there is something called as a there are concepts which leads to your audit trail. OK, good question. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Next question is can you explain cutover activities once again?
See, it is a term used for the movement of the non-SAP data to SAP. As simple as that. Let me keep the definition as simple as this. So my implementing partner was using a non-SAP system much before. Now he wants to get into SAP. So how do I take care of the data movement from the non-SAP or the legacy systems? Typically, we call this we call this as a legacy data in SAP to our SAP data, right? This is your simple understanding of your cut over activities. What is this cut over? English meaning you are cutting the usage of the earlier systems and moving over to the SAP system. You're slowly stopping using the non-SAP system and you're slowly starting using your SAP system. That is your cut over activities. One of the most important phases in the life of a consultant. All right. Why? I will tell you when we discuss the steps followed in your SAP projects. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. One question is, what is the role of SAP basis?
Uh, okay, I think I have answered this. No problem. Absolutely not a problem. As I said, uh, I really don't mind repetitive questions. But as far as the role of a basis person is concerned, he is responsible for protection of the data, data security, and also the authorization or the permissions for a particular person to use the SAP system in the organization. As of now, just make a note of these 2 points. The basis person controls, or rather, he is responsible for securing the SAP data. One is that. The second one is he is also responsible for the access given to a specific person to access the SAP software. How much of the SAP software can I access? Okay, these are the two roles of a basis person. There are many things more after especially HANA came up. Okay, but for now, if you know these 2 points, it is more than enough. I hope I have answered that question, madam.
Yes, sir. Sir, these many questions as of.
Fine, madam. I hope I have answered everything. So I have added one more point. Access to the SAP system is one more responsibility of a basis person, basis consultant. First and the foremost, data security and the authorization to the SAP system. Authorization or the access to the SAP system. Clear? Right. So with this, what we'll try to do is, for people who are attending the session for the first day, how would you access the course content? Okay, it is through something called as enable. I think by now all of you, or at least most of you, would have received the access. Each of you would be given a unique user ID and the password, and it is going to look something like this. This is your, see, enable now. Okay. So once you give your respective user IDs and your passwords, this is going to be your course. Okay, this is how it is designed. Totally, there are 965 slides. And basically, each and every topic in this particular slides, or in this particular mod, or in this particular enable, you have an introduction. So you also have the summary of this particular topic. Lastly, you also have your question and answers as far as that particular topic is concerned, so that it enhances your understanding. So if you answer those questions, probably it will be, I think there are 4 to 5 questions in every unit. We call each of the topic as units. Okay, so each unit will have a objective. Okay, it will have this summary at the end of the unit and followed by questions, so that your understanding of the unit or of the topic is complete. Yeah. So each and every slide you have an audio. Can you see the place where I'm moving the cursor? There is a each and every slide has an audio support. You can switch on the audio or you can switch off by keeping yourself on mute. Okay, or you can unmute. So single right arrow, double right arrow, single left arrow, double right arrow. I mean double left arrow. What do these indicate? So if I'm moving page by page in a specific unit, I use a single arrow. Can you see I'm on page 5? Oh, I think so it goes to page number 6. I am not really sure if you're able to listen to the audio, but I am able to hear to the audio. Madam, were you able to hear to the audio?
No, sir, not audible.
Okay, okay. So actually, I was playing the audio also. That is why I was not talking. You
Yeah,
can mute the
okay.
audio also. You can also mute the audio. That should not be a problem. Okay. So each
Yes.
and every slide has an audio support, and you can keep moving page by page. You also have a video. You can play the video. And there is also an audio. So you also have some graphical slides so that the explanation becomes more and more clearer. Okay, so like this, you can uh, swim through your course content. All right. So this is how your course content looks like. So you have unit 1. It explains about HANA. And you can click on lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, whatever. It is all what we have discussed. So what is HANA? What is ERP? So we have all seen this. It is the same thing what I showed you. It is the same thing. Absolutely no change. So in my documentation, I only made the English a little simpler. That's it. All the contents are the same. What is an ERP? Why do you use ERP? Okay, all these things. See, you also have a audio. I mean the video. Okay. You can listen to the audio in your free time. It is a wonderfully designed course content for you people. And with this course content, expectation should be that you will feel you will be more comfortable in using the SAP systems. And when you are put into an SAP environment, your understanding of what is going around you, because tomorrow you are going to be qualified CMAs, and the expectations from you professionals from the business is something really huge. All right. So you carry a lot of expectations, right? So this is how this course is going to help you. All right. And as I said, do not try to understand these slides letter by letter or word by word. Just give some time for yourself to understand this. For this, you may have to read and reread. You should come back and read again and again and again. If you're not clear about a specific topic, okay, you always have the Q&A section. You can post your questions there when the session is happening, and I'll be more than happy to take up your questions. And to the best possible of my capabilities, I would simplify the understanding and the topic. Clear? Okay. Now let us go through this. So just keep going, moving. And what does this particular double arrow indicate? Now if you remember, you are in unit 1. So whenever I have finished through the unit 1 and I want to skip to unit 2, I go to the double right arrow. See, can you see I jumped from page number 6 or 7 to page number 56. So we have also known what is business processes. So if you want to go through page by page, read them. You also have interactions, very interactive slides. And I will take you back to slide number 1, where I want to see unit overview. Did you see this unit overview? What is it that you will learn after you read through this unit? Clear? Now, one more interesting thing what I wanted to show you was this. See, you have questions also. Maybe you'll be having little more than 5 questions. I am in question number 5. So go back, you'll get question number 4. SAP Fiori applications are role-based. So we know what Fiori is. I would mark the answer. Right? And I would submit. So it will immediately give me the answer also. So you are confident that you have understood the topic. And even if you get incorrect, it is perfectly okay. You are still in the learning phase. Absolutely no problem. You can reread, come back, and then answer your question, understand the question, and answer the question. This is how your course content is split. Yeah. So every course content will have a objective, and at the end of the explanation, it has a summary. And to end the unit, to end the topic, you have your understanding of the topic by means of questions. Okay, this is for people who are absent on the first day. Okay, make the best use of this content. It is wonderfully designed. All right. Now coming back to our integrated business process. This we are going to pause here. Right. And see, as I said, it deals with more of, see, I'm going to quickly go through this, but I'm going to revisit this in detail in the 3rd week of our session, because by then you would have understood SAP Finance, the importance of SAP Finance, and you will have better understanding of this particular integrated business processes. I can show you the slides. That's absolutely not a problem. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get through the, you could have heard the questions also. See, So there are some characters asking questions to each other. So I want to understand about what is a primary business process and how it has been understood by any ERP product. Okay. So what is it talking about? So you have some characters, Richa, Priya. All right. So you can listen to the audio also. Just unmute this and you'll be able to listen to the audio also. So he has taken the example of a bike company. Okay, so just go through the pages. Record to report processing, typically your assets. Record to report. Then I go to lesson 2. I'm going to skip all this, but I'm going to come back. Please mark my words. I'm going to come back. Okay. Lesson 2. Source to pay processing. Warehouse and inventory. Designed to operate. Production planning. Procure to. Now lesson number 5. Lead to cash. All these are the names given to the specific business processes. Now, if you say, you can see project systems, asset management, hire to retire, typical integration between your FI and your HR department, record to report, assets, source to pay or purchase to pay. In your ECC, it was called as P2P, purchase to pay cycle, but now it is called as source to pay. So like this, we are going to look at how each and every department is talking to each other. Now I'll just click on this. You'll be taken into a deeper explanation as to what is this about. The lesson will cover the source to pay processes, describe the source to pay, how SAP understands. Clear? Just a moment. I need to take this call, I guess. So sorry, so sorry. Okay, I can take it later. Not a problem. Did you understand this? I am going to just keep it pending. I'm going to come back to the slides a little. I'm going to come back to this topic a little later. At the appropriate time, we will try to understand. But to get a feel, let's go through this process. Procurement department of a XYZ company. He has taken the example of a bike manufacturing company. So he has given you the examples of how a specific business reached the process. Okay. So there are videos, there is audio in every slide. So make the best use. Listen to the audio also, because that will give you more clarity into. So now what is this client? What is this company code? What is this purchasing organization? All these things we are going to. Now, why I said I'm going to come back to this later is to understand this integration and the business processes. You need to understand what is a client, what is a company code, who creates this company code, what is this purchasing organization, who's responsible for this, what is a purchasing group, what is a plan, and who are the people in the SAP system who are responsible for creating these entities in the SAP system. That is why I said, let us try to understand these entities first and then come back to these processes a little later. Once when we are thorough in understanding this, or once when we are comfortable in understanding this, we will definitely visit this particular topic. Clear? So I'm going to skip this unit for the current moment. This is how this unit has been designed. Okay. Now let us see what is there in the unit 3. Financial accounting. This is the heart of, see, we are in slide number 266. Clear? So now we have to look at our module. I think you must be comfortable enough to understand what is a module. As I said, SAP is broken down into, or your business is broken down into several departments. Your organization is broken down into so many departments. Each department will have a head. Your purchasing department will have a head of the purchasing department. Everybody will be reporting to him, and the head of the purchasing department will be reporting to the VP finance, or somebody who's a super boss, director purchases or chief manager purchases or whatever. Similarly, from the finance department, you'll be having managers. They will be reporting to the senior manager finance. Senior manager will report to the chief manager. Chief manager will report to the general manager. General manager will report to the vice president finance or to the CFO. So like this, your reporting hierarchy is taken care of. Correct? Now, in the previous slide, I said we read something called as company code or client or something we read, right? What are these terms? That needs to be understood, and that needs to be understood very thoroughly even before we even start talking about SAP. And even before, guys, I'm so sorry, I'll have to take this call. I'm so sorry.
Students, please hold on.
Just give me 2 more minutes and I'll join. Okay, so sorry. So sorry, students. I had to take this call. All right. So the main idea as to why I kept that particular topic for a later visit is because of that. So basically, we need to understand our module even before we start understanding the other modules. So other modules is, suppose when you want to understand, we saw some words, procure to pay or whatever it is, lead to cash, some typical words we saw, right? Let me get that word right. Some source to pay or something we saw, right? So these cycles, they are a combination of two or more departments in the SAP. Source to pay. So source, you're identifying the source from where you purchase the items. Pay, it is a responsibility of the just give me. Okay. So this is how, and this is the reason as to why we have to take this in a little organized way, at least in the very initial stage. Let us not jumble up things. Let us try to slowly understand in the most methodical way so that the total understanding of the subject will be more clear. So here, what I'm trying to tell you is you necessarily, as you see, I'm a consultant. So I just cannot be happy only with my side of SAP. When I put in years and years of experience in the SAP field, I need to pick up the other modules also, not as an expert, but at least to a decent level. I need to understand so that it is going to help to add clarity to my understanding. I hope you're getting my points. So what I mean to say is I cannot simply remain a finance expert alone. I should also understand how the other modules, the purchase module, module, SD module, sales module, production planning department, production planning module, PP module. So we just saw a few examples there. In my Excel sheet, I wrote down all this FI, CO, PP, PM, PS, right? So all these modules also, I need to have a not an expert understanding, but at least a decent understanding of how these modules are working. So understanding of our module is very, very essential. So I'm assuming that we are all finance people. All right. So let us see how this helps us. So I'm just going to give you a brief into how this slides look like. All right. Later, please open up your study content and go through. Now, what does it say? Basically, this is a slide which says your FI, your finance is broken up basically into your accounts receivables, accounts payables, asset accounting, bank accounting, your consolidation. You can read. Explain the general ledger accounting process and the closing operations in FI, in finance. Now, if I use the abbreviations, FI is your finance, CO is your management accounting, MM is your purchasing, SD is your sales. So slowly get used to it. Okay, I'm not hurrying up things. Please do not feel that we are going to rush through. No, we are going to spend time on this and we are going to slowly move. Okay, so just a moment, I can reduce. So now you can see. Can you see the last point, bulleted point? Understand the concepts like AP, AR, AA, bank accounting, taxation, closing, consolidation. All these are covered. Conceptually, we are going to go through each and every sub-modules. I'm going to call this your accounts receivable, accounts payable, consolidation, and all these things as sub-modules in SAP. Normally in your SAP language, these are all referred to as your sub-modules. Janvi madam, can we take a break? Can we break for lunch?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So students, now we'll take a break and we'll be back by 2 p.m. for the next session.
Yes,
thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.